Have you ever thought that the Magic the Gathering universe could benefit from some kind of visual representation other than playing cards? Maybe an outlet where you could walk along some of the greats or travel to the planes that we've only seen in this format? Well, now we can to a degree with Magic Legends, an action role-playing game that has you create a planeswalker and navigate through the different planes helping out the citizens that live there. But does Magic Legends offer up gameplay that also builds upon the MTG universe while making it enjoyable? Or is it just a cash grab and not worth your time? With that being said, let's get into it. A little bit about the story. You start by making your character from one of the 5 classes represented by the different colors of magic, and after that you awaken in a strange place and witness 2 planeswalkers fighting. After one gets left for dead, you jump in and save him. Ral Zarek, now owing you his life, offers to teach you the ways of the planeswalker to harness your potential, but to do that he tasks you with hunting down his attacker and helping the other planes with their problems in the process. Now, when I heard that Wizards of the Coast was making an ARPG in the Magic the Gathering universe with a card system, I immediately thought back to Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories, and I won't lie, I wasn't really looking forward to it, but after having played through hours worth and getting into the nitty-gritty of the game, I can say I was more than impressed. A fun Diablo-like combat system with mountains of lore and a revolving card system in the way of spells. It all culminates into engaging gameplay. You start off with a basic attack and 2 class-specific attacks used by the key and W key. I played as the Geomancer, and these attacks were creating a stone shield and sending projectiles outward, or leaping to a location for a ground slam. As you continue through your journey, you'll unlock deck slots that'll allow you to add different spells in the form of cards into a revolving door system. When you cast a spell, it moves to the bottom of the deck and another takes its place. But much like Diablo, you'll have a mana reserve to cast these spells. Bigger damage-like abilities will require more mana to use, but the resource to cast is in major supply as attacking creatures will replenish your reserves. At first you'll just have one color option to choose from depending on your starting class, but later down the track you can add in different color spells, giving you more options while you're in the thick of combat. Spells in Magic Legends range from summoning creatures to fight beside you, giant AoE spells that rip through enemies, or even healing buffs. But even with spells and abilities being able to modify to fit your needs, Magic Legends takes it that one step further and even allows for some deep customization in that armor that your character can wear. Throughout the game, whether through quest rewards or through random drops from enemies, gear will drop. These, along with artifacts, offer up stat bonuses, whether increasing damage of a certain type of spell or healing received, all the way to even resistant to a certain school of magic. These can also be upgraded with materials that drop from combat to further increase their abilities. And probably one of the best bits about tons of different armors is the ability to visit a tailor and create a look out of unlocked appearances. And this game takes it one step further to where when you get a new piece of armor and equip it, it doesn't change the overall look, meaning that you can rock that badass look without having to visit a tailor constantly for transmogrification. Magic Legends offers up a huge area for you to traverse, filled to the brim with beautiful scenery, and when you're not doing quests to help the denizens of whichever plane you're on, there's also side activities sprinkled throughout the area, like mythic boss fights or defending points of interest. However, unlike Diablo where this game takes inspiration, exploration is rather limited. There aren't hidden dungeons or special hidden quests. There are, however, fast travel locations spread throughout to help you get from place to place, but besides that, nothing is off the beaten path. Major quests can range from fetch quest or dungeon-like instances, whether fought through solo or with 2 other players. These dungeons are where hordes and hordes of enemies are thrown at you, usually with side objectives, like helping out survivors of an attack. They're your best chance for loot and new spells. But at the current state of the game, I have to point out that in these 3-player instances, the game may stutter a bit, whereas on the solo dungeons, I had almost no issue. Now this is an open beta, so take these next points with a grain of salt, as I'm sure they'll be patched out on the lead to a full release. In my time playing, I don't think I ever had a session where the game wasn't being patched at some point or another. This isn't the end of the world as the patch went by fast, but I did notice that the game's performance tanked. I also noticed that anytime other players were present, the performance seemed to drop. This brings me to the lack of settings the game has currently. When attempting to drop the settings to fix performance, as I thought it may have been a driver issue, I was surprised at how bare bones everything is. You have 4 options for graphics and that's it. You can't tweak individual settings at all. Normally this wouldn't be an issue for me, but when the gameplay starts to drop frames going into single digits at some times, it can make navigating the world impossible and frustrating. Also, I have to mention that there are microtransactions. There are XP gains, a battle pass system, and cosmetic outfits. Now, in my time, I haven't reached endgame yet, so I'll do a follow-up when I get there as to if these are predatory or not, but at my current game time of over 10 hours, I haven't seen these as an issue. I haven't felt like I needed to buy them to further my journey. But with that being said, that takes us straight to the conclusion. For this being an open beta, I was surprised at how many systems they had in place that were actually working. And for anyone who has played Magic the Gathering, having that lore and even interacting with planeswalkers is interesting to see it brought to life. This is one of those things where if you're a fan of Diablo-like gameplay while being able to explore some lore over 20 years in the making, I'd say give this a try. It's a free download, so what do you have to lose? And when the game is running on full cylinders, it's actually breathtaking. It's beautiful to look at, and the combat feels enjoyable. Just be prepared for some bumps in the road.